become as around 9 for me, so I can go beyond this. So I'll be talking about framework for agile product management. And as Rajat said, if you need to do it quick and dirty. So this is what I could build up in a couple of days as I was out like last week. So I just came back and going to talk about like framework because it's important to have work within boundaries, so it helps you come up with good product. Right, so that's about me. Like I'm done my MBA from IIM Calcutta. I'm a certified Scrum Master. I'm a PMP certified. Currently working with Zone 6 Corporation, heading their India, MIS and development teams. Wearing multiple hats there as a project manager, product owner, business system analyst, and I've been managing projects based on a Java CRM ERP, custom CRM ERP. Currently we are implementing Microsoft Dynamics AX ERP. I'm involved in EDI integrations, though I didn't know anything about it before coming into Zones. Managing team of MIS reporting, who's handling BI and reporting and application support. And this is what drawn up as a product management framework. So the key areas which we look at in this framework is on the left side is having a product roadmap, and then you have a backlog, and you need to manage releases in those. So equipment on standby, power went off. Sorry about that. No problem. Okay, so and you need to manage your releases. So basically the framework then is further layered on developing a roadmap, managing your requirement, prioritizing those and managing releases, and put those into a Scrum Agile environment. I've also tried to put up like estimation variances. So if you're like when you're actually implementing, if it is a X sprint, then there can be variances like +5, +8, +10, various levels. Having product roadmap is very critical and important for a product. It gives you about the vision and the business strategy, which is which the product is going to implement. So you need to collaborate a lot with your business groups. It can be customer, commercial owners, sales people, marketing guys, engineering, business development guys, all of them understand the strategy, business strategy, and then develop a framework which the product is going to target. Do a lot of research, come up with ideas, present to the various stakeholders, do a lot of brainstorming on those ideas, work on those, collate the ideas and come up with a strategic roadmap. The next thing is communicating your roadmap. If you do not communicate it well, you have lost the half of the battle already. So, and the roadmap can be used to communicate and product owners, managers need to communicate it very often. Communicate to your team, technical teams, business groups, line managers, everyone, senior executives, so that it builds strength about the product. They all understand what the product is going to deliver. And it also like show what the vision of the product is, where the product is going to go in the long run, and that builds the confidence at all levels. So right from your technical team to your executive layer. It builds the confidence that what the product is going to deliver. You work with your business, come up with your requirements. It can be like initially it can be formal or ad hoc. You may even like take down requirements maybe on a paper napkins, or then you need to further drill them down, so that, and you need to ensure that the backlog items you create out of those have clarity. So if I've created something, a third person should be able to understand what I've written and what it actually meant. So three people should not draw out different conclusions out of it. Firm up further on your requirements. Ensure that the clarity is there to the best level. And of course, backlog has to evolve regularly, continuously. So you need to work constantly on that, very regular, be particular about it. Then you need to manage your releases. Work with technical teams to come up with estimate backlog items. Prioritize goals for the next quarter. Then review those priorities continuously and update it before or after every sprint. So that has to be done. That has to be done continuously, so that your priorities are updated, your goals are constantly being reviewed. Create and distribute release plan after each release, each sprint, and keep a very high visibility. Communication is something like very important in any product development or managing a product. So communicate very often, very regularly, starting right from your roadmap to backlog and your releases. And this is something like you can come up with how, if you have a backlog like this, you can figure out like what are your must-have, should-have, how many sprints it's going to take. You can build in your buffer within that, add some additional buffer, pre-release, like pre-sprint thing and all those, and come up with how much it is going to come up with, or an initial estimate. So add those buffer, keep estimating, keep a target on how much and what it is going to take, how many sprints it is going to take, right from you create a roadmap. So then, like as I mentioned earlier, there can be buffers at each level, which will go on and will be more refined as you move on the project or on the product development. And then you need to use your Scrum or Agile process methodology to implement the development part. So you have a product backlog ready from your items, and which then you turn it into a potentially shippable product. I won't go into Scrum because I know everyone is Scrum expert here. So and then you can use like the team velocity to determine how many sprint the product backlog is the product is going to take to produce. You can create user stories from your backlog items which you created initially. Have your domain experts and product owners sign off on the UAT, like the product which is created. Release note, publish those after every sprint or release. So and then like those factor in all those things. So this is in brief. So didn't have much time, so I tried to put things in a presentation possible, and I think it's within time. So we have some time for questions. Any questions on this?
Yeah. We have time for 3 questions.
So have you been practicing this kind of framework in your company? And
yes.
What are the?
We've been practicing.
Okay.
So initially it wasn't very formalized, but then we started formalizing it, and then we started then we came up evolved roadmap. So if product is at X stage, what it should look like in say 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, kind of a framework. So then work towards that. So even for like when we started with the Microsoft Dynamics implementation, we've gone to all our business users and came up with about 2,000 requirements, which the current systems were not offering, and they wanted the system, the Dynamics should be able to deliver. So that.
So do you document all the details and then make it a live document, or is it one-time exercise done before the development?
No,
starts?
it has to be a live document, and in fact, like that's what I mentioned. It has to evolve. You have to regularly update it, review it like almost monthly. So, what's on your top of your priorities? So
in that case, how do you decide the release dates? Do you predict your release dates in advance, or you just wait for the work to be finished?
We see in terms of release dates, we have a monthly release schedule. So we do a bi-weekly sprint, right? And every month we have a release. So whatever is the deliverables coming out of those 2 week sprints, or two sprints happening during the period, gets released in the next release. Yeah.
Yeah, you were just talking about you're wearing many hats of business analyst and project manager, etc. So can you actually explain how do you differentiate your role as a business analyst and a project manager in a particular?
Yeah, because actually I'm handling different responsibilities as well. I'm handling like a Java development team. I'm handling team who's working on Microsoft Dynamics implementation. I'm handling EDI integration projects. MIS reporting, which is more of simply like pulling out data information from the systems, reporting it to the business groups.
How do you differentiate between the two?
So at times you need to play, like when you're working with a team in sprint, during that sprint planning, reviewing your priorities and backlog, you need to play the product owner role. And when you need to see, okay, if there are small projects, then you also need to have an end-to-end visibility of the project. So you need to play a project manager role, and being a product owner also involves drilling down, getting into the information you're getting from the requirements, that you need to analyze every aspect, that okay, nothing is missing when it comes out to the team. So most of their queries are answered, and they have clarity of what needs to be delivered. In fact, most of us do, but yeah, it's basically realizing that okay, I've been doing it. So I would think like most of us are doing it, wearing multiple hats. So at points you also wear hats of being HR manager, managing people, consolidating. I will tell you one good example of, like, I have a guy who was like about to leave, company was pissed off with his work, and so I went to him and said, okay, you're about to be fired. Everyone, even like CEO and everyone doesn't admire of your quality. So do you want to be a failure and keep on becoming failure always? Or you want to succeed here and then go on? Then wherever you go, then you don't have to carry the legacy of being a failure. So, and he evolved, like within a month he was a star performer within the organization on that project he was working on. So,
any more questions? Okay, thank you so much.
thank you.